He's saying that my government has done the wrong thing. But I am not the president. I have a different view. If I were the president, I would not impose ABCD.
Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Memo biara kwaba eba PENDREAM TV. Say we are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, no like a video, no na share ma afofron so ensa enkebi. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa Asoja Agu the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Ocha said Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia credibility issues. Na enyuma Ghana the share nsano he hasn't delivered only track record to prove the competence to run Ghana as a president and I said to lead Ghana as a president. Na omu conducted survey biana Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is leading in terms of Obia only credibility. In terms of Obia Omone Homodin. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa HSS Sawutie Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia the lecture. Omaye some few days ago. Obetima implies he is distancing himself from the governance of Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. What says some taxes be oba scrap no indirectly no or said Nana Addo Akufo-Addo am more homodin as a president now wa fairly Ghana for. And intino oba on repeating the mistakes of ne boss Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa the ntia eni say yede Ghana Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ensa. And some way ne ensema hudo bi na yede besomo ene. Say we ni wo ha subscribe to channel no na bell notification bell no. Na me say omre no kame ho. Da yentie ensema Okujeto Ablakwa editu dwa ebra o chere na adwen afa Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ne campaign launch odebetu dwa no.
Sami. Alhaji Bawumia.
First of all, it is important to emphasize that if it was a matter of who is speaking, not many of us will be interested. Because there's no track record, there's no delivery, there's no credibility, cannot be trusted. Anytime we have done surveys, scientific polls, about the most discredited politician in Ghana, the one who tops in terms of a trust deficit, it is this gentleman. So if it was just him, I don't think that anybody will waste precious man hours. But it's really about the office he occupies. He has risen to Vice President of the Republic and is seeking, he has the audacity, the effrontery, after such a colossal, abysmal performance, to present himself anywhere else where the people are taken seriously and where they have respect for the citizenry. The NPP will not have presented this gentleman as their flag bearer.
Randy, I need to draw your attention that this business about Bawumia being a liar, that Samuel Okujeto is happily introducing us to, was exposed by a media organization who did an investigation, and they found out that the whole Bawumia liar thing on online and all of that was orchestrated by the NDC. Now said the
Go out there. Go out there.
Out where?
You don't need any organization. Talk to Ghanaians. If there is any politician whose videos, whose own words have been used to disgrace him, to reduce him to nothing, it is Bawumia. You know that. Look, even this address that he presented, organizations have been doing fact-checking, and I pity him. Manasseh Azuri's group, the Fourth Estate, put out some fact checks yesterday. It's so embarrassing. The claim he made that Ghana is the only country with a motor insurance database in Africa. They checked and found out that Nigeria did this more than 10 years ago. So the verdict, completely false. So you don't need any organization.
Is that in Bawumia's speech?
Yes.
Where is it?
It's there.
Show me.
It's in the speech.
No, where is it in the speech?
Let me quote. Again,
No,
I believe the motor insurance database, I don't know of any African country that has put together this motor insurance database. Ghana is the first to do so, unquote.
Where is it in the speech?
You have the speech.
Because I haven't found it.
The fourth estate.
No, give me
fourth
is that
estate.
the speech?
The fourth estate, yes. I'm extra.
No, this one. What is this one?
Yeah, this is the speech.
Show me where it is in the speech.
Please, when you were speaking, I didn't interrupt and interfere.
So Nana, your case is that Dr. Bawumia never made this statement.
No, I say show me because I haven't seen it.
It is, and I've quoted the extract.
No, I'm saying show me.
You also have the speech. So read through.
Why are you quoting an extra when you have the speech?
You spoke for an hour. I didn't interrupt.
Oh, but this is a legitimate inquiry.
So this fact check has been done is completely false. You can't whitewash him. We know him. You can't trust him. You can't take his word to the bank. It was ABF Husseini who famously said, that video went viral, it's still being played, that if you meet Bawumia and he greets you, good morning, you even have to look at the direction.
That's why his constituents did that way.
You know.
Let me ask you a question. Do you agree there's a database? Insurance database?
I allowed you to speak.
No, I just want to clarify.
No, please.
Where is the lie?
Again, quote.
The lie is that Ghana is the only African country.
Yes. But the database is there.
Ghana is not the only African country.
But the database is there.
Yes.
Second fact check we did. Ghana is the first country in Africa to achieve this type of interoperability between bank accounts and mobile wallets. Again, they did a fact check. It turns out to be false.
No, that one.
Kenya, Tanzania have all
that one I have heard Bawumia say it. Listen, what Kenya and those people have is the connection between networks.
Nana, can you write
the
down
connection between your bank account and your mobile account? Who were the first in Africa? Go and check. But me, I'm not even worried about this first. It is there and influencing the lives of Ghanaians.
Reputable organizations have done the fact check, and he can't change. Bawumia just cannot stop peddling falsehood. Look, even on this claim of 2.1 million jobs.
Yeah.
I have here the Minister for Employment, the Honorable Ignatius Bafo-Ewa. September 16, 2022. He says they've created over 5 million jobs. Can you believe that? Over 5 million jobs. Then February 17, 2021.
That should be adverting.
Yes, adverting. He said 3 million jobs.
Are you quoting Bawumia?
Now Bawumia says 2.1 million jobs. I mean, same government. I'm sure by the time we get to July this year, it will be probably down to 500,000 jobs. I mean, you just can't.
But I need. Let me make a comment.
You know,
on that.
over 5 million.
No, 1 second.
3 million.
This business
now it's 2.1 million.
Now I'm making a comment to help you. You see, Bawumia. No, 1 second. No. This is a national issue. Bawumia has been consistent in his accounting to Ghanaians with a number of jobs.
Yeah.
But you see, me.
And his employment minister should,
1 second.
should not align with him.
For me, you've done this job.
It's the same government.
You see, what we need to do as a nation, government after government. In your time, there were employment statistics. Yeah. We should get a neutral body.
Okay, so
like say TUC.
Nana, he has just 15 minutes. Let him finish.
I just started, but so you can trust.
So what is
anything Bawumia says?
So he's a liar. That's all.
Look, Dr. Randiabe has been very charitable to you this morning.
In what way?
When you went on and on trying to beat him up about Bawumia hasn't said anything is wrong. Bawumia is only mildly disagreeing.
He's putting words into my mouth. Check it.
Look, when you read.
No, but when the man does this thing.
No, we all heard you.
I said madly disagreeing.
Yeah, we all heard you. Yes,
you heard me.
We all heard you. Look, Dr. Abe has been so charitable. Go to page 45 of the address. When Bawumia,
now you are quoting the address.
When Bawumia was talking
let's go to page 45.
about the about tax collection in Ghana.
He's going to read from there.
Yeah, okay. But why didn't you read the first time?
I read the extra. I was reading from.
You don't have much time. Don't allow that to distract you.
But these are legitimate inquiry.
Yeah. Listen to what Bawumia said.
Yes.
Said, unfortunately, the pressure that is placed on GRA staff to collect revenues makes them focus on existing taxpayers. Sometimes they even have to go sit in people's shops to monitor sales, a process known as invigilation. In fact, many businesses feel harassed by this process and the constant audits of the operations. This has to stop. We must strike the right balance between collecting revenue and allowing businesses to thrive. Our job is to protect the productive forces. What can be more skating than this? Skating
you agree
on his own government. I continue. Paragraph 118. Paragraph 118. It says the current tax regime in Ghana has been with us since independence, and it has failed us.
I said the same thing. He says
it has failed us. It says too much discretion results in corruption. We want a regime that is easy to understand, easy to comply with, and easy to enforce. And that is not subject to so much corruption.
Yeah.
I mean,
but this are very bold.
It means that on this,
very bold.
It means that on this issue, his government has wasted 8 years.
Wasted 8 years of our time.
That's what it means.
Just wasted our time.
He said.
He says that the current regime has failed us.
No, he said this has been a situation from independence.
Yeah, but what was the promise in 2016?
And what was the promise? And you came in as the economic messiah.
Yeah.
You came in as the economic messiah.
So
you were touted as the man with the magic wand.
So what?
I mean.
So what?
And you say, oh, he hasn't talked about failures. He's just saying disagreement. I mean, please, you are trying to rewrite the speech. We all have the speech. We heard him.
I didn't even
the speech
quote
is
from
here.
the speech. You are quoting from
Don't
the speech.
rewrite the speech.
You
I didn't even quote
you were part of the creation of the speech, so you don't need to. It's here.
You know, so what is going on, Ghanaians? What confusion. What confusion. Look, now you don't even know who to hold responsible.
For what?
And
responsible for what?
For the mess. For what Bawumia says is the corruption, the failure of our tax collection regime, and the harassment of businesses. And you are the chair of the economic management team. So what have you been doing there? And I have allocations that have gone to his office. If you look at GIFMIS code 2210909, just in September, one month, September 2022, he asked for 4 million Ghana cedis, 4,050,227, just for 1 month, for what he said urgent and other emergency activities. This year, we'll be spending 18 million Ghana cedis in his office. All of these millions of Ghana cedis. You are chair of the economic management team. And then you now come and tell us that you have been a fantastic failure.
What did Parliament approve for?
You have failed since and then you say since independence, we have failed. And that you now should be trusted. After wasting our time for 8 years.
Yes, because he wants executive power.
Look.
He wants executive power.
Look.
His opponent, your boss, had executive power for 4.5 years.
Let me quote from paragraph 172 of his address, page 72. Ladies and gentlemen, many people have said that I am the most impactful vice president in Ghana since independence. And he likes this grandiose claims. I don't know whether he suffers from, delusions of grandeur. You see, I've been the most impactful vice president in Ghana since independence.
You obviously don't agree.
Then he continues, I do not intend to compare what I have achieved as vice president under President Akufo-Addo to that of a vice president who could not perhaps make a mark. So boastful, beating his chest. Then, when he comes to the sectors that he sees that he has hit the road.
I asked him a question about that claim.
Which one?
The claim of being very vice president. I asked the question. I said, if the man was not responsible for anything, how is he?
Then how come you are the best? How come you are the most impactful?
Actually, if he hasn't been impactful,
how come you are the most impactful?
He would not have won the NPP race.
So
I'm telling you.
So when he comes to the economic failure, the disaster that he has superintended for the first time. We are going through financial haircuts. Never happened in our history. Where we are,
because you borrowed a lot of
domestic debt exchange program is imposed on us, where we are bankrupt, where we cannot pay our debts. Never happened in our history. Page 22, when it comes to the economy, he says, quote, I was thankfully appointed as chairman of the economic management team as a subcommittee to cabinet. We do not have any decision-making powers. Can you believe that?
Why can't you believe that? Why can't
the man who says he's the most impactful says independence. Then when it comes to the economy, he says, oh, you know, I was only a subcommittee chair.
No, is it true or not?
We don't have any decision making.
No, is it true?
Why are you
that the EMT
why do you
is
have
advised to cabinet?
No.
Sorry.
So are you impactful or not?
But,
is he the most impactful vice president's independence or not?
Oh.
Is he or not?
So why has he not been impactful?
No, you should be telling me, is he or not? You
are
disputing. He wants to have it both ways.
No, you are disputing. So why do you think he has not been?
You can't eat your cake.
The man says that I was not responsible for any decisions.
Yes.
I was not responsible for implementing anything.
Me, I'm only an advisor.
He hasn't said
that's what he's saying here.
No, he hasn't said so.
You haven't read paragraph 64.
No, he hasn't said so. He says that the committee that he chairs is
such
advisory.
Confusion.
Of course, be an advisory committee. Some of your advice can be taken. Some may not be taken. That is not only that the vice president does. He does other things.
Like what?
He's saying that the president asked him to coordinate the systems to make governance open and better through digitalization. He said so in the speech.
Okay,
have you seen
Sammy just gone.
Have you seen
So
and he went on to talk about some of the things that they've done with digitization. Have you seen that?
No, can I speak?
No, have you seen that in the speech too?
Can I speak with
if he wasn't impactful,
at least he should,
the NPP flag.
Well, at least he should own the IMF program.
The IMF program is here.
He should own it.
Yeah.
Own it means what?
Yes.
Huh?
The IMF.
He should own it as the person who led the process.
Yes, they've told us the IMF
and everything in the document.
But we went to IMF,
including all the taxes.
We went to IMF in 2015.
Let me proceed.
Who owns it?
Let me proceed.
We went to IMF in 2015.
Let me proceed.
Who owns it?
Let me proceed.
Nana.
Who owns
Let me proceed.
Nana, why that analogy?
Can I have my time?
But why that question?
Can I have
why that question?
I am saying that this IMF document, when you open it, when you open this IMF document, I don't see Nana Addo.
Yeah.
No, all the way know is the president.
Once you said Bawumia should own it.
Yes.
We going to the IMF.
Yes.
You mean the decision?
The program, not the decision.
Those who led the negotiations,
the
IMF has said.
But once you take the decision, you go through a program.
Yes. And so you are not part of the program. You don't lead the negotiations for the program. And there are decisions.
He has told you he's not part of the program.
If I finish,
has Bawumia told you he's not part of it?
If I finish, you understand me. In that program, that his name is listed as number 1.
Yeah.
You have e-levy there.
Yeah.
You have all those taxes that he says you scrap in there.
Yes.
Yes.
And if he disagrees, and other people don't agree.
After leading the negotiations, the hypocrisy, the dishonesty.
Has he said...
He probably thinks will not read the IMF staff report.
No, has he said he was not part of it?
He thought we won't read the IMF staff report. Is that what you people were thinking?
Look, the
that we
simple
won't read the
question
IMF
that you have to tell us. Has Bawumia said anywhere?
Let me continue.
That
This
not
is my
part of
time.
anything?
This is my time.
Now, did you remember anything?
Dog, he doesn't.
It says he will scrap the things that are negative about the program.
Obviously, because he disagrees.
Because those ones are negative.
Because he disagrees.
Shall we go?
When somebody said they disagree with something, it means they are not part of it.
He doesn't end there. At page 40, he says, my vision, ladies and gentlemen, as vice president, I am like a driver's mate. But if by the grace of God, you make me president, I will be in the driver's seat with constitutionally mandated authority to pursue my vision and my priorities.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, you people had said so.
But that's a statement of fact.
It's a statement of fact. You disagree? People had said so in 2015.
Please, can I proceed? When did he come to this realization? I hold in my hands.
Yes.
I hold in my hands the letter he wrote to then Vice President Emisa Atta on 170 statements that he wants a response.
Yeah.
Look, when you go through these 170 statements, the things that Bawumia blamed Mr. Atta for and expected a response from him. Shocking. Take, for example, statement number 10. Taxes on businesses have increased dramatically, and new taxes have been introduced. For example, increases in capital gains tax from 10% to 25%, withholding tax from 15% to 20%, and the introduction of energy levy 10%, VAT on financial services 17.5%, special import levy, etc. Taxes have also been introduced on ambulances and bicycles. He wants Emisaka to respond to this.
Okay. Do you want me to respond?
He continues. Statement number 12. The government is also accumulating arrears in payments to contractors and other service providers. Emisaka was supposed to respond to this.
Yeah.
Arrears to contractors.
Yeah.
As head of economic management team.
Yeah.
He was not driver's mate.
No,
He was
the subcommittee of
yes,
cabinet,
the subcommittee of
which is
cabinet,
only
which
an
is
advisory
only an
role.
advisory role.
Yes.
Yes. As a Emisaka, he didn't deserve that sympathy.
Can I ask you just one small
Let me
question?
continue.
No, no,
you
just
see
one,
how unfair
No, no,
you
just
people
one
were.
question. Randy.
Statement number 14. Statement number 14.
Randy,
A rising black hole of state-owned enterprise.
No, let him finish.
No, did Emisaka
Please, it
respond?
doesn't matter. He wrote it. This is
Yes,
it.
but did he
wrote
respond?
to
But why
me.
did he direct the
Why
question?
did he direct it to
Why did he do
Emisaka?
that?
Why?
You must direct it to somebody.
Oh,
No,
really?
but he did.
You must
And-
direct it
Nana,
to somebody.
Nana,
Emisaka
Nana,
didn't have a
Nana,
president
Nana.
at the time.
A person who knows
Yeah.
that the EMT is a subcommittee of cabinet.
Subcommittee.
Yeah.
That is only an advisory body.
Yeah.
Why would that person address 170 questions about the economy to the chairman of the advisory
of
committee?
the
Why
advisory
will they do
committee.
that?
But
Why?
you are seeking information.
No, why to that person?
Yes.
Why
Why?
not? You are seeking information.
I mean, look at this.
Isn't it?
And
You
the
are-
information
no
is to the
consistency.
information
No
on
principle.
government decisions.
Where,
Yes,
where,
government
where,
decisions.
where the two of you.
Let me continue. You
where I dis- I'll not say
even
you
be
are wrong.
more
But
shocked.
where I disagree with you is that Bawumia seeking information from Emisaka is not blaming Emisaka.
He is. He
Is
is.
he blaming him? He's
He
asking him questions. He
He
wants
is.
information.
He is.
How do you
If at the
conclude
next day, Nana,
that if somebody asks me a
Nana,
question,
if at the next day,
Listen,
listen, Nana,
you asking me
why will
questions.
you
Have
direct,
did you read the 170?
Nana, why will you direct questions, questions about my moderation on this program?
Yeah.
Why will you direct it to somebody else?
Yeah.
Today, as we speak,
yeah,
today,
true.
you ran the Abbey.
Yes.
You've directed questions meant for government to me. Are
Yes.
you blaming me?
No, no, because on
Are
this,
you blaming
hold
me?
on, hold on,
No,
Nana.
you've directed questions to me.
Nana, hold
No,
on.
haven't you?
Nana, hold on. Nana, hold on.
You are looking for information.
Nana, no,
That's why you're asking me.
Nana.
And if I have it, I'll tell
Nana,
you. If I don't have it, I'll tell
Nana,
Yeah.
Dr. Bawumia
you. Uh-huh.
was a deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana.
Yeah.
And Dr. Randy Abbey
Just hold on.
is the moderator.
Nana-
I'm sitting here. You have directed questions
if
to me.
if I finish,
Okay.
if Dr. Bawumia was not on this posturing tangent about EMT,
Yeah.
nobody will raise this Misata, Vice President Misata issue. Dr. Bawumia is here telling us that a vice president who chairs the EMT is nothing but the chair of a subcommittee of parliament,
Yes.
Of cabinet.
which
Of cabinet.
only provides advice.
Yes.
It doesn't take any decision.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not responsible for anything.
Yes.
Yet,
Yeah.
with all his knowledge and experience, when he had 170 questions to ask about government's economic performance, he directed them
Yes.
at the head of the advisory committee,
Yes.
who does not take decision, is not responsible for the implementation of anything.
Yes.
There was a finance minister. There was a president.
Because he's looking for information. He's not assigning blame to Emisaka. He's looking for information. Can you explain this to me? Can you explain that to me? Can you explain? If Emisaka has the information, he will say, yes, this is why we did it. If he hasn't got it, he will say, no, I don't have the information.
What is wrong? Why would he choose to ask Misata? Why?
But he's the head of the economic management team.
And the economic
So
management
he's in a
team.
position to have
No.
information.
So the economic management team is the right place to ask 170 questions about the economy.
Why?
Yeah.
You mean the questions are too many?
No, I am saying that you have 170 questions
Yes.
about the economy.
Yes.
Where the right place to go to?
So
You have been at the Bank of Ghana
You mean
as
they
deputy
shouldn't have asked
governor.
any question at
No.
all? Is Emisaka who should tell him that I'm not the person to answer this?
He should
And
know.
indeed, Emisaka did not.
But he that so
When
so,
did-
so
when
you
did-
are
when
suggesting
did
that
Bawumia
you are
come to the
suggesting that
realization?
Alhaji Bawumia,
Why can you are sitting asking me
So-
questions?
so-
of
so you
government.
are saying that-
The one I
because
asked-
of the three of us.
So you are
Nana,
saying these questions were incompetently
Nana, if you are not sitting on this program,
yes.
if you are not sitting on this program, yes. I'll never sit here and ask a question about government of you.
Yes.
But sitting here, the three of us, you are the only person who's in government.
Yes.
So if there's any question about government, ordinarily I'll ask you.
Yes.
When you are
does it mean that
when you are not on this panel,
but
I will not ask you.
So
it is not as if the vice president. It's not as if the vice president was in a debate with him and he had consistency.
But you see, my worry is not you asking me the question. I'm very fine. The one I can provide you information, I give you.
Please, can I continue? Can I continue?
But today, you are not blaming
today,
me
Nana's strategy is
you asked me. Are you blaming me because you asked me a question? Oh no. And the man is asking a question from
statement number 14 to what we are told now is a subcommittee. A rising black hole of state-owned enterprise debt, which together with the debts owed by government to the bulk oil distribution companies and the lack of adequate supervision of microfinance companies, can potentially collapse the banking system. In addition, we have rising interest rates, crowding out the private sector, reduced business confidence, and declining economic growth.
So what is the point?
Then he continues.
What is the point of all of it? Is he blaming the Misata?
This Bawumia's statement.
Yeah, but is he blaming the Misata?
In fact, the following day, Alhaji Bawumia took to his Twitter page to post that it's been 24 hours since I asked
Emisata
170 questions.
Yes.
Has he responded?
Yes. And what was the Emisata's eventual response? He didn't remind him.
I don't want to.
Number 17.
No, he didn't remind him.
Number 17. In the last 7 years,
he
under this
responded to
government,
one.
The rest
he said he wouldn't respond.
Total debt has ballooned from 9.5 billion to 100 billion by the end of 2015. 105 billion in May 2016.
Is that true or not?
Now it's 600 billion.
So
who should take responsibility?
Randy, when we comes to
when Emisata was vice president,
when it comes to
he should answer. He is the chair of the economic.
We have to go.
Where is principle? Where is
honesty? You are looking for information. You are looking for information.
If you didn't think that this is the right place,
look.
If a former deputy governor of Bank of Ghana is in the best position to know where to seek information.
But Randy,
so anywhere he goes to,
yes,
Randy, anywhere he goes to impliedly means that he knows that is where.
Yes,
exactly.
And in fact, to move from there, there is a video of the vice president taking on President John Mahama. And says that President John Mahama had been in charge of the economy for 8 years. And he explains the 8 years to mean that he was EMT chairman for 4 years and president for 4 years. And that is...
so when Mahama was president, he was in charge of the economy.
Doc,
you don't get what I'm saying.
Doc,
I'm saying Dr. Bawumia.
Let me read the last one.
I'll show you that video.
Doc, let me read the last one.
Says that President Mahama was in charge of the economy for 8 years. And he goes to explain the 8 years by saying that what it means by being in charge of the economy for 8 years is that he was chairman of EMT for 4 years, and then president for another 4 years.
Yes.
That is.
Yeah. And I'm saying, taking your own word for it, it means that
it's not my word.
Doc. No, you are saying it. I haven't said it. But I'm saying, I agree with you.
It's not my word.
What it means is that
the person who says that somebody has been responsible for the economy for 8 years, and his definition of being responsible for the economy for 8 years is that the person was EMT chairman for 4.
Now, why then did he extend it to the presidency and say that he was
responsible
as president?
He was EMT chairman for 4.
For 4 years.
And president for 4.
Why have you neglected the other part of it? The 4 years as president.
Why are you pretending that you don't understand what I'm saying?
Look,
he says
this is a strategy.
He knows very well that John Mahama was president for 4 years. Yet he said that John Mahama had been president for 8 years.
Yes.
And his explanation of the 8 years is that John Mahama was EMT chairman for 4 years.
So what you are saying is that Bawumia was saying that as president, Mahama was in charge.
He's saying that as chairman of EMT, he was responsible for the economy.
Why have you neglected the other parts?
Doc, you are going to laugh.
Why have you neglected the other parts?
Just allow me to read the last Bawumia question to Emisata. You are going to love this one.
Yes.
What he says, the economic management.
Let's listen to the question.
Indeed, given the resources at its disposal, one should expect at least 4 to 5 times the quantum of investment that the NDC claims to have undertaken. The close to $33 billion of borrowing that was most used for projects could have inter alia. Then he lists $33 billion. They have borrowed, if you do the 480 billion at current exchange rate, it's about 39 to 40 billion.
It's not true.
$billion.
It's not true. Yesterday, President Mahama was saying that we borrowed 13.5 billion.
Can I proceed?
Just yesterday.
Can I proceed? Can I proceed?
Yesterday.
So
Mahama was saying that we've borrowed 13.5
so
billion.
with $33 billion, you say that.
And you borrowed 31.
You say that Emisata, as chair of the economic management team, they could have solved the water problems in Ghana. This is Bawumia speaking. Solve the energy problem and not put the country through 5 years of doom at the cost of human lives and collapsing business and unemployment. Put in place at least 1,000 kilometers of asphalt road in each region. There will be no major road problem left in any region. Transform agriculture in the northern regions, Afram Plains and the rest of Ghana through investment in machinery, irrigation and dams. See the high expectation he had of the economic management.
Yes.
Put in place one world-class hospital in each region. Buy at least 1,000 ambulances for the Ghana Ambulance Service. Set up factories with the private sector across the country to add value to our raw materials and create jobs. Equip our existing health and education institutions with state-of-the-art facilities. Build an additional 600 of the senior high schools the government is trying to construct the Accra-Kumasi Paga Railway as the Western Railway line.
I'm going to spend all the time
See how
on
embarrassing. See how embarrassed you are. So
where's the embarrassment?
So Emisata as chair of the economic management team, this is what they should have done.
Okay. All right.
With monies that they
Randy,
Look, it's unfortunate we ran out of time. Look, there's so many.
Time is not a friend. We've already taken 1 hour of the sports.
Will you believe that he said that the attack on the BOG, the criticism against the BOG, is unfair? It's unfortunate.
He said so.
I'll do with that.
I'll do with that. BOG, when there was a pandemic, they were putting up a 222.7 million.
We'll have a separate.
How was that an intervention?
Once it's brought the issue, once the vice president has brought the issue up, we'll have time for it.
See this letter I intercepted. They were putting up a guest house in Tamale at 139.
No, he was talking about the BOG.
Awarded the contract 23rd June 2020, and you say that
what you are doing is not fair.
All right.
This
is during the pandemic.
No, this is not what he spoke
during the pandemic.
One second. He spoke about the BOG support,
the printing of money.
Government.
Okay.
He didn't talk about the BOG projects.
Our criticism.
Have to be fair.
I have a gift for you. I have a gift for you for this weekend. So watch it. It's a gift for you for this.
Now, before you give me your gift, I'm going to talk about AID.
You want to apologize to Mr.
I have seen that you have acquired for yourself a very good 50th birthday present.
Dr. Randy Abi Ebisa Nana Akomia about ni take on Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia the lecture obama about ne initiative ne programs ne affairs on enema obeye se Ghana for ejinitum eto abamano as the President of the Republic of Ghana. Now affairs no osan responded to allegations that okujeto Ablakwa edituja. Na me say umre no yentie sane Nana Akomia responded to allegations Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa edituja.
So let's dovetail into UPSA.
Before we do that,
no, I want you to deal with the issues and then
no
continue.
Problem. Yeah, no problem. Now, Samuel Okujeto attempting to assign motives to me on the earlier discussion about the electricity tariffs. That attempt is not fair. Did not assign blame to anybody. And I did not exonerate anybody. We're discussing a letter written by the finance minister. So this attempt to put me in the category of having a motive is wrong. Stop doing that. Sami also has a question that there's so much pain because of the IMF. I was going to ask him, so what was the source of pain when we went to the IMF in 2015? And we went through similar IMF conditionalities that brought a lot of pain to Ghanaians. Now, when you were reading the adverts, I remember that last week or so, when you kept interrupting with the many adverts that you have, presenter mentions. had made a remark that it shows that because previously we didn't have so many presenter mentions. I was saying that it shows that the economy is bouncing back, business is growing, and it's reflecting in the adverts that media houses like yourself are getting. And Samuel Kujeto said, oh no, this has nothing to do with the economy. It's just Metro TV that is improving.
Yes.
See? That if you were not getting the adverts, he would have said government has made the economy difficult. We are getting the advert, he says government has nothing to do with it. It's just your own initiative. It's the kind of...
The companies are not spending extra. They are moving.
It's the kind of... And acknowledge the small truth. Acknowledge it won't kill.
So now you want to seek refuge in adverts.
Listen.
Things are so bad. Is adverts from these small companies.
We know.
The adverts of Good Morning Ghana are brought to you by kind courtesy of the government of Ghana.
We know. No.
Led by Alhaji Bawumia.
No.
Endorsed by Nana Komia.
Randy, no. You are being sarcastic. It's not necessary. Listen. You are reading the adverts.
Do you know that is an advertiser?
The adverts.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's okay. The adverts.
So he was doing voiceovers.
No, he worked in that space for a long time. Ad agency.
The adverts that you are reading, we heard them. Mm-hmm. They didn't come from Jubilee House. They came from companies. I'm saying to Kujeto, acknowledge the small things. It will not hurt you. Nobody will beat you up. Nobody will beat you up. The adverts are coming. Randy is reading them.
It's a desperate situation. Okay. So we are getting a few more adverts.
You and me have been on this show for a lot of time. Do you see Randy reading this presenter?
I agreed to do LPMs.
Yeah.
The request for LPMs on the show has been there for years. But for some reasons, I thought that it would be a bit disruptive. Yeah. But eventually, my team, got me to agree that we needed to do it. Yeah.
You're looking at the state of the economy.
For survival.
Yes. We needed
but
if the LPMs were not coming, you would not have the chance to.
No, I'm saying that we've always had the request for LPMs. But
in fact, there was a time the adverts themselves were not coming. And we're here.
Which times were that?
How will you know?
Because we are here. No. We are here. When you break and there are only two adverts. Or only just one advert.
That's when.
Recently.
Yeah, right.
You mean you want me to?
No, I'm saying here in Northridge, right?
No, when you are at Labone. Yeah.
But from Northridge, there's always been a lot of adverts.
No, but Northridge just recently. The president opened this building recently. So, Samuel Kujeto, the small things, acknowledge them. We won't kill. Now, so last Wednesday, Dr. Bawumia made his maiden speech to the country since he was elected the flag bearer, the presidential candidate of the NPP. He did, I think it was about 70-page address.
Yeah, 73.
73. Yeah. Let me try and just summarize it. We don't have a lot of time. Okay, so he divided the speech into two. The first part dealt with where we are today. And so he talked about the economy from 2017 up to the pre-COVID economy, which is 2017 to 2019, broadly 3 years. He talked about it, and then he talked about the post-COVID economy, which we've been in from 2020 to largely middle of 2023, and then he talked about the situation today, which we are recovering from, the post-COVID economy. The pre-COVID economy from 2017 to 2019, the indicators, the macroeconomic situation were quite positive. If you looked at the figures regarding the GDP growth, that's the rate of expansion in the economy. We talked about growth in sectors like agriculture, like industry, It talked about inflation, interest rates, fiscal deficits, the CD's depreciation, balance of trade, and so on, which is the imports over exports. And they were all, the indicators for many of these parameters were positive in the period between 2017 to 2019. In fact, for GDP, the growth of the economy was the best in the world in the period 2017 to 2019. And then you had the COVID coming in. It had a major impact on the world economy. He quoted the IMF Director General, who said that COVID has caused the greatest economic depression in the world since 1930. In 1930, there was what they called the Great Depression, where the world economy virtually collapsed. And the IMF director said that COVID is the greatest depression since the 1930s, and that we expect global economic activity to decline on a scale we have never seen since the Great Depression. And of course, the economic situation with the advent of COVID changed. We all know what happened, the supply chain disruptions, the shipping disruptions, the cost in fuel, shipping, and all of that impacted every country in the world. In fact, in the United Kingdom, for example, battling with the COVID economy, they had like 3 prime ministers in 3 months. So it impacted on Ghana. We had our own local issues here, the banking crisis, the excess payments, what do you call it, the energy sector payments and all of that. And then this COVID came. Our GDP shrunk from 6.5, a world-leading 6.5 in 2019 to below 1, 0.8 or 0.9 in 2020. Now that shrinking in the growth of the economy had a major impact on our debt to GDP ratio. It shot up the ratio. We were downgraded and we couldn't get access to funding and all of that. We tried to make up for the shortfall through the domestic policy like the e-levy. It didn't work very well. Eventually, we went to the IMF, like many other countries in Africa and the third world. We went to the IMF. Since then, we had to go through a lot of remedial measures, which is usual under the IMF. And the good news is that we're coming out of the very unfavorable situation that we found ourselves in after 2020. Today, many of the indicators are in a positive direction. Inflation is, the economy is expanding again. What particularly makes me happy is that the debt to GDP, the ratio, because of the debt renegotiation and so on, the ratio is coming down. I understand that China is becoming amenable to having the cutoff date for the debt payments at the year 2020, instead of China's position has been the cutoff date should be 2020, and the other creditors want the 2022. I understand China is slowly coming around to 2022. When China is able to come around, it will bring our debt to GDP below 60. And you know, there are quite a lot of projects that were going on around the country that were suspended because of the debt ratios. Now, if the negotiation with China is successful, which I expect it to be, and it brings our debt to GDP below 60, and the funding is released, many of the big infrastructure projects, the funding will be coming on stream and the projects will start. Many of them were 40%, 50%.
I don't know the source of your data, but I'll try and get a document for you to look at. The IMF itself has done the debt to GDP projections over the
Now it's about 66.
no, over the period for the program. And the figures that you are mentioning are not the same as that, but I'll get that document for you.
Which figures? Which figures?
No, what you're mentioning as a debt to GDP, if this were to happen, they've done a debt to GDP projection over the period, taking into cognizance the program. And the document I read, the figures are a bit different. That's why
the figures of what? The ratio?
Yes.
What did they say is the ratio?
So I would pull it out.
The figures I have is that now it's about 66.
Which is from?
This is as of December last year.
I mean the source, Bank of Ghana.
Yes.
Okay.
66. And that if we're able to have a successful negotiation and it comes to below 60, funding, it would trigger release of funding that would see the continuation of many of these projects.
So the domestic debt restructuring is led to a 40% decrease in our debt.
The domestic and the external. You know, there's a conclusion with the European debtors.
Yes.
Yes, at 2022.
The European one is not Europe stroke the Chinese.
The Chinese are sticking at 2020. So now
Yes.
the thing is to get China to come to 2022.
Yeah, no, my
That's the sticking
point
point.
is that we're having a joint agreement with Europe and China.
Yeah.
We are not having separate agreements with them.
Yeah,
It's one agreement.
yeah.
And so how are we able to decouple the two?
But the Europeans and Chinese are different. You know, you have the Paris Club.
Yes, but I'm saying that during this negotiation, the impression I get is that we're dealing with Europe and the Paris Club as one.
Yeah.
As one.
And China.
Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, Europe, that's the Paris Club, and then China as one.
Yeah.
So how are we able to split the two? The negotiation,
Like you
if
said.
completed,
No,
must be
no,
must be with both.
Like
of
you
them.
said.
Yes.
There's the Europeans and the Chinese.
Yes.
They're all sitting at the same table.
Yes.
The European, like the three of us are sitting at this table. Two of us may have an agreement. Sami may have a different agreement. So it's a matter of bringing him on board. But what you have now, the agreement that you
But
have
without
now,
that, there's no agreement.
without that,
Yes.
see, the Europeans, there's a certain moral hazard that if we agree to 2022 and China doesn't agree, then we will be shortchanged because then China is getting more, you know. So all the parties are joining Ghana to pressure China so that they all can come to a...
Yeah, so the point I'm making is that until we have China on board, there's
Yes.
no agreement.
No, there's no agreement.
Yes.
Yeah, but for now, even with what
And
we
in
have...
fact, they have even indicated that in the agreement, I'm told that there's even an indication that whatever we agree to, you cannot give the Eurobond holders something better than what we have agreed to.
Yeah.
You're aware of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but even with what we've done with the domestic
Yes.
and what we've done with the Europeans and so on, it's brought the ratio down.
No, I don't want us to count our chickens before they are hatched.
Okay, no.
Because
See,
there's no agreement.
the reason why I'm even mentioning this is that the prospects of agreement are good.
Yeah.
And if we get that agreement and it brings the debt to GDP ratio below a certain threshold, funding will be released for these projects. For me, it's the projects, and these were huge projects that all of us were happy about. If you go to my office, the Obecha Bilante, which is about 70 or 80% complete.
At the time.
Yes, and it's been...
There's a different discussion. I'm sure that another time we would have that discussion.
Which
what
one?
will happen, you see, for example, the Obechebi
Lampe.
that you raise.
Yeah.
And you have the experience and the expertise as well. That a project which is about 70% complete, which was stopped
a year ago or so.
a year ago or so. By the time we
The
decide
cost.
to go back on site,
Yes.
we probably will be looking at a project which would, from a financial point of view, be about 50% complete.
Yeah. That's what you suffer because you delay the project. But
And then you're going to ask for more funding.
because it's dollar denominated, the variation will not be much. If it was CD,
You will take CD to change to the dollar to pay. That's,
No,
that's your pain.
the loan that you'll give to you will be in dollars.
No, but I'm saying your pain as Ghana is that your repayment,
Yeah.
the CD that you have to change
Oh, that's
to
what you
dollar to
mean.
pay. Yes.
Yeah, you suffer some little
Yeah.
pain for. Anyway, so the projects Obeche Bilante, the La Beach, your hometown. The La Beach Road Phase 2, the Nungua Barrier to Tema, of course, Obeche Bilante interchange, the Sunyani and Brekum Town Road, the PTC interchange project, Takrady, which is causing a lot of problems when you're moving between Elmina and Takrady, because that project has not been completed. Kumasi Inner City Roads, Tema to Aflao Phase 1, Boku to Bogatanga to Polimankrom, Tamale to Walewale, Ashama Runabout to Akosombo, Savelugu to Walewale, and all kinds of projects. For me, that's where I'm excited. I'm excited that we are making progress with China, and if it brings the debt to GDP ratio below a certain threshold. Well, so anyway, Bawumia talked about all of this, gave an appraisal of where we are from 2017 to 2023, pre-COVID and post-COVID. And that took about half. So when I hear people say Bawumia is running away from the economy, I don't understand. And then he talked about his vision. Now he said that he's going to take a different path to achieve the same philosophy. Of course, that is to be expected. A new leader is going to come with his own way of doing things. Now, and of course, conditions in 2017 are not the same as the conditions in 2020 and will not be the same as conditions in 2025. So you need to adjust your approach all the time. He's going to aim as his vision at macroeconomic stability. And he says he's going to do that through prudent expenditure. He's going to bring a law that will make the deficit fixed to just 5% of the previous year's revenue. And he's going to put it into law so that no matter who is president or who is the governor, you can't have a budget that is more than 5% of the previous year's revenue. So that this problem of the deficit, fiscal deficit that we've suffered for a long time, can be dealt with. He also said that he's going to, as part of the prudent expenditure, he's going to engage the private sector. And for me, that's a major vision that if we give him the chance and he's able to implement, would see transformation in the infrastructure of this country. He's going to leverage the private sector to provide the infrastructure that's commercially viable. So if you take roads, for example, the major highways, which are commercially viable and can be tolled, would all be funded from private sector funding. And that would take a major chunk of pressure from government expenditure. He's also going to cut the number of ministers to 50. He's going to be looking at, instead of government buying a slew of vehicles for all kinds of government officials across the government machinery, he's going to look at leasing vehicles that will make them cheaper. He's also going to do major reform in our tax administration. In effect, he's going to make the tax system easy to understand, easy to comply, and easy to enforce. And he's also going to expand it. You know, taxpayers, former taxpayers, just about 4 million people in this country. The Ghana card's been issued to about 17 million people. And automatically that gives everybody a tax identification number. And so it makes people identifiable. So if you take the 4 million who pay tax out of the 17 million with Ghana card, you are looking at about 13 million potential taxpayers who can now be identified. And that allows us the opportunity to expand the tax base to include this 13 million who are outside the tax base. And it's going to look at a combination of flat systems, flat payments, and a system that will make it simple for everybody to pay their tax. And he believes that the reduction in government expenditure by offloading major infrastructure that's commercially viable to the private sector, seeking private sector investment, both internal and external, in providing this infrastructure. And so government will then be focusing on side roads, for example, that are not commercially viable, but the commercially viable major projects, the trunk highways and so on, will be farmed out to the
So what would you say to somebody who said,
oh, yeah. So, and that is going to reduce government expenditure, and then the reform in tax administration is going to bring more money. So that then gives him the opportunity to do away with taxes like e-levy and emissions tax and VAT on electricity and so on. All those taxes that are meant to plug revenue shortfalls will not be necessary, because the vision that he has is to expand revenue in such a manner that you don't need these taxes.
So what is it the case that, as chairman of the economic management team and vice president of the republic who sits in cabinet, he made all these proposals for the tax reforms to his government, and his government has failed to implement them? That's one. Two, on the issue of these highways and making money from it and all that, in 2016, there's a video we play all the time.
Yeah, I've seen it.
He said that he has worked at the Bank of Ghana before. Once we tool the roads, we'll be able to, we don't need to borrow money to build any road in Ghana. Once we toll, we will be able to construct all the roads in Ghana. We don't need to borrow for any road. What happened?
Well, you see, for me, that presents an opportunity for Ghanaians to see what a man is worth. Because he had stated these positions very, very, very clearly. And we're talking about his position on e-levy, that he had said that digital payments are going to be such a central part of our lives, and to encourage people to resort to digital payments. He wasn't in favor of taxing digital payments. So if there's a tax on digital payments, you and I should reasonably assume that he couldn't convince his government to go along with his vision.
Okay.
Because he stated it very clearly. Right?
No, my question, okay.
This business of tax tolling the roads.
No, the reforms, what he says he's going to do.
Yeah.
You read something, that there was going to be tax reforms to do all those things.
Yes.
I'm asking whether he made these proposals available to his government as chairman of EMT. And as a member of the cabinet, in fact, the vice chair of the cabinet, and his government did
not. And I are not at EMT.
Yes.
So we cannot be able to speak with a certain certainty about what happens at EMT. Mind you, EMT itself, which is the economic management team, is an advisory body. In the system that we run today, the executive authority rests with the president. Every other institution is advisory. The EMT itself is advisory to cabinet. Cabinet itself is advisory to the president. The president can, even when he's convinced about something, he won't even take it to cabinet. He can bring it to parliament straight away, because he believes this is the way to go. There's no need to take it to cabinet and so on. It's an executive presidency that we run. So, for me, it should give us an opportunity to see that Bawumia had his vision and his own ideas. And to the extent that some of the things that he had espoused have not been supported in government policy, shows you that.
So my question, my question, which I believe is a legitimate inquiry, is that, you know, prior to 2016, Dr. Bawumia was presented to us by Nana Akufo-Addo and the NPP. In fact, Nana Akufo-Addo is quoted as saying that he's bringing Dr. Bawumia to deal with the economy. And he touted his expertise. In fact, there's a video I played yesterday.
We all remember those.
Nana Akufo-Addo, before Parliament, as President of the Republic, even informed Parliament about the sterling performance of Dr. Bawumia, and how that performance is what has led to the economic progress that the country was making. He told Parliament. That's in fact the video.
I've seen it.
Now, So I'm asking you, and I think it's a legitimate inquiry, that if Dr. Bawumia is telling us about tax reforms, which will not make the plethora of taxes imposed on Ghanaians necessary, is it the case? Is it saying that I made these proposals available to my own government, my president and the cabinet, and they didn't think it's the way out?
It's implied. Now,
Okay.
yes, it's implied.
Fine.
Now, to the first part of your question,
Yes.
that Akufo-Addo was praising him for. But really, Bawumia hasn't said that the economy has failed. Akufo-Addo has not said that the economy has failed.
No, you don't get the point I'm making.
No.
To the extent that Dr. Bawumia is saying that these taxes, I will remove them.
Yeah.
What in a sense is saying is that they are unnecessary. You should not be paying these taxes that my government has imposed on you. If you give me the opportunity of becoming president, I will do the things you have espoused that he says you will do.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I do those things, you will not have the need to pay these taxes that my government has imposed on you.
And what's wrong with it?
By implication, he's saying that my government has failed
No.
with the tax measures
saying-
that they have imposed on you.
No.
They are inflicting pain on you that I find unnecessary, that I will remove if I'm given the opportunity.
Yes.
But they will not listen to what I think is the way out.
I mean, if that is the way the implication you see,
Am I wrong?
no, it's a legitimate implication. Because we don't know what actually takes place in those decision-making chambers. But you can just make deductions. And I'm saying it's a legitimate deduction. And I am not far off from that deduction. Because I've said to you that if I make a pronouncement that this is the way I believe things should go, A, B, C, D, and I'm part of government, and government doesn't go that way, then obviously you can deduce that I disagree. And I mean, that's an implication that you can make. Because the man states boldly, clearly. And mind you, he stated these positions now, that I don't think we should be taxing digital payments. And he's stating the position now that I don't think we should be paying some of these taxes. And that I'm going to reform the system in such a manner that these taxes will not be necessary. You can make your deductions.
But the point I'm making is that that's indicting on the government, especially for me as a...
Not necessarily. Look, when John Mahama came into office in July 2012,
Yes.
as a caretaker president,
Yes.
he had 6 months.
Yes.
He presented his own set of vision and policies. In those 6 months, yeah, it doesn't mean that
none of them...
It doesn't mean that
none of the things he presented was an indictment on an existing policy of the then government.
But if you disagree with a policy, it doesn't mean that a policy is indicted. You disagree. You see things differently.
But Nana,
If I disagree with you, it doesn't mean that
Nana, in fact, we do not have a disagreement. If Dr. Bawumia is saying that...
what is your major point?
We know the effect,
What is your main
we know the effect of taxes.
Yeah.
We know the effect of taxes. So if Alhaji Bawumia is telling us that this tax, that tax, that tax, that tax, and the effect of those taxes are excruciating for anybody who has to pay them. And he says that there is a way. If that way is pursued, there will be no need to inflict this pain on you. If you vote for me, I will show you that way or implement that way, which will save you the pain of having to be inflicted with all these taxes. Yet, these taxes have been inflicted on us by a government of which he is the chairman of EMT and vice president.
Yeah.
And once they are part of the IMF program, it is safe to say that we'll probably endure these taxes for the next 10 months. Obviously, he's saying that my government has done the wrong thing. But I am not the president. I have a different view. If I were the president, I would not impose ABCD.
Look, All that you are saying is correct. Where I depart from you,
Yes.
it's your implication that he's saying the government has done the wrong thing. He hasn't said so.
Must he say that in black
No,
and
no,
white?
no, he hasn't said so.
No, but must he say that in black and white?
One second. He hasn't said so. He says that
Yes.
I will do things.
He says I'll scrap it.
You know, yeah. So I'll do things different.
No, he says I'll scrap it.
Yes. So
Why would he want to scrap it?
Scrapping is different because he has another way of looking
A
at it.
superior way. He's proposing a superior
for all
way.
you know, listen, for all you know, these prescriptions,
Yes.
somebody too in government will not agree. But there will be people in government who will say that I don't agree to the scrapping of e-levy.
Yes.
There are people in government that would disagree with him.
Yes.
They would think that no, looking at the volume of financial traffic in digital payments, now it's over $1 trillion, I understand, that it should be possible to take something from that sector because it's a growth pole of the economy. And so letting it all go like that will bring, like this is a low-hanging fruit. There are some who will disagree with him. And I know colleagues who have said that they would think that maybe reduce the rate would be a better idea because digital payment, digital traffic is going to grow. So there will be some who will disagree. It doesn't mean that this is wrong or this is right. It's a different way of looking at it.
No, it is.
But you are putting words in his mouth to say that he says it is wrong.
No,
he hasn't said so.
Nana.
Has he said so?
Nana. When the
Has he said so?
He has. When the sitting vice president.
Where did he say that this is wrong?
So let me show you.
He said that I'll do
No,
things
so let me
different.
show you.
Show me.
When the sitting vice president, who chairs
Show me.
I'm showing
Not your
you.
deduction.
No, I'm
Show
showing
me.
you.
Okay, show
when the sitting vice president, who chairs the economic management team, says that there's a particular tax handle, we all know what went on in this country for that tax to be approved.
Which one?
E-levy. Even up to the level of fisticuffs
Yeah.
on the floor of parliament.
Yeah.
We know what we went through in this country for this e-levy to be passed. The vice president says that this tax, if I
Actually, he had said so earlier.
no,
Before
yeah,
even the e-levy
yes,
came.
but I'm saying that he says
You agree that he had made his position on digital tax
yes,
way earlier before e-levy.
yes. He says that if I were made president, I will scrap it.
Yeah.
What does it mean? It means that he believes his government is wrong in imposing that tax. He believes it's wrong.
But if I disagree with
Yes.
you, does it mean you are wrong? That's what you are saying.
Yes. Yes, you
If
are
I
wrong.
disagree with you, it means you are wrong.
I'm wrong in what I'm doing. In what you disagree with me, I'm wrong.
No, I haven't stated that you are wrong. I say that I see things different.
You said that
I will do things.
You said that you will change the decision I've taken. You will not do. You will not go that way.
because I have my way. But it doesn't mean that you are wrong.
How?
How?
But if I'm right, why will you change it?
Anytime anybody disagrees
No.
with you,
If
it means
I'm
you are
right,
wrong.
why will you change it?
Because there are different ways of doing things. Now, anytime anybody disagrees with you,
Yes.
it means you are wrong.
Yes, it means that in their view, I'm wrong.
Hold on. I have disagreed with you on this.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you are wrong.
It means
It's just that I have a different
it means that you
viewpoint.
believe I am wrong.
You can't impute that.
How?
You cannot impute that unless the person states clearly that you are wrong.
So let's deal
He says
with
I have a different way of
Let's
looking
deal
at
with the final one.
it. And what is your point? Your point is that what?
I'm saying that what I'm saying to you is that what he has said is that this thing done by my government is wrong.
He hasn't said so.
So why will he scrap it? If it's right, why will he scrap
Because
it?
he has a different way.
Yeah, because he doesn't believe in the way. He doesn't think it's right.
But if you don't believe in something, does it mean that it's wrong?
In your view, it's wrong. In your view, it's wrong.
No. That you are wrong in that view. If I disagree,
Really?
if I disagree with you, I'm saying to you very, very simply, if I disagree with you,
Yes.
it doesn't mean you are wrong. What it means is that I see things differently. If you disagree with me, it doesn't mean I'm wrong. All it means is that you see things differently.
No,
you would prefer a different
so Nana,
way.
you
Nana,
you are failing to listen to me. I started by
You
telling
are
you,
failing
no,
to listen
Nana,
to yourself.
I started by telling
You
you.
are not listening to yourself.
I started by telling you about the implications of
Let me
taxes.
ask you a simple question.
No,
If you disagree with somebody,
Yes.
does it mean the person is wrong?
Listen,
No. Simple question.
No,
Yes or
no, Nana. It is not a yes or no.
Because that's not the point.
It is not a yes or no
But
issue.
what is it?
What are the implications of taxes?
Randy, if I disagree with you about anything, whether it's taxes or anything,
Yes.
doesn't mean you are wrong.
It is. In your view, I'm wrong.
In my view.
In your view.
If in my view you are wrong, I'll tell you that you are wrong.
But how
when I tell
how
you-
else do you tell me I'm wrong? By saying that you have done A. If I had the opportunity,
I'll do it differently.
I will not do A. I will
do
scrap the A.
But have I
And
said that A is wrong?
If you say that
I'll
I've
do
done
it differently.
Nana, if you say I've done A, if you had the opportunity, you scrap
Listen,
it.
if we are
and then you
going
go ahead to tell me
Listen.
that there is a completely different way that I will do it. What have you told me?
I've
in
said that
essence?
I see things differently. That's all.
Yes. So I'm saying
If
that,
you and I go to Kumasi
yes,
and you prefer to go by road,
yes,
and I prefer to go by, you prefer to go by private car,
Yes.
and I prefer to go by bus.
yes,
We have different ways of reaching Kumasi.
yes.
But because I don't want to go by road, by private car, doesn't mean that you are wrong.
But you are giving me a
It's my
reason.
different-
You are giving me a reason why.
Yes, that I'll go by bus.
A reason why my going by road is wrong.
What reason?
But that's what the vice president said.
No,
He's
no, what
telling the
reason?
Ghanaian people, listen, he's asking
He's
people to
saying
vote
that-
for him.
he's saying that
And he's saying that my government has imposed A, B, C, D, E, F for you.
He said I'll do
If you give me the opportunity to be president, I will take that A, B, C, D, E, F away.
because I'll do it differently.
Yes, but
It doesn't mean that somebody is wrong. Your
Hey.
problem is your fixation on applying wrongdoing.
No.
If somebody sees things differently, how do you come to the conclusion that because somebody sees things differently, it means that the other person is wrong? It's just different viewpoints, different approaches. Anytime anybody disagrees, it means you are wrong. That's what you are trying to tell me.
Nana, you have imposed a tax
So-
on me.
Has
Okujeto says
Bawumia
that
told you that somebody is wrong?
he must not tell me in black and white that somebody is
So
wrong.
the wrong is in your mind.
It is not in my
Now,
mind.
it is in your
I
mind.
am not an idiot.
It is in your mind.
If a government,
It is in your mind.
if a government has imposed a tax on me, and a member of that government says that if I have the opportunity of becoming president, I will take away that tax burden from you.
Yes.
What
But
does it mean?
Listen, even same governments
Yes.
take out taxes.
Yes. But what does that mean?
No, even same.
It means that the government realizes that it is wrong.
No, the government realizes that they can do things differently. Even same government.
Yeah, so what they did was wrong.
Can you listen to me for 2 seconds? Even same government
Yes.
take out taxes.
Yes, because they were wrong.
No, because they believe they can do things differently.
Because the approach
When-
they used,
when-
what
when
they
this-
did was
when-
wrong.
when this government
That's why
came-
they must do things differently.
That is your conclusion. That is not my conclusion.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
But that's what I'm trying
That's
to tell
fine.
you.
So let's deal
That's
with
what I'm
the,
trying
let's
to
deal
tell
with the issue of we'll tie all the roads and we don't need to borrow money.
Ooh, what's the problem with it?
No, I'm saying that was his prescription. He said he had worked at the Bank of Ghana.
Yes.
And so he knows we don't have to borrow money to construct any road.
Yeah.
If we toll the roads, we'll be able to construct all roads in Ghana.
Yeah.
Now, on Wednesday, he's saying something that you read again about roads, highways, and so on.
Yes. He's repeating the same.
So my point is that
You should agree that he's been consistent.
No, he hasn't. He
No.
hasn't.
So, Nana.
Now he says he'll bring private sector.
Nana,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but tolling it, yes.
Nana,
Because
my
the tolling
question to you,
allows you to leverage
my
private
question
sector.
to you is it the case that the government didn't believe that tolling the roads is what will be able to construct all the roads in Ghana?
You know, Bawumia stated this matter in 2016.
Yes.
You agree?
Yes.
And in the last 6-7 years, that doesn't seem to have been done. You agree?
I don't understand.
I mean, he stated his position
Yes.
that we are talking about of funding the roads from tolls.
Yes.
He stated it in 2016.
Yes.
And in the last 6-7 years, that doesn't seem to have been done. And he's restating the
What
same
doesn't
position.
seem to have been done?
They're financing the road through tolls.
Okay, but
Yeah,
we
that
had
position-
we had the tolls until
And they were removed.
yeah until
Now,
2020 or 20.
What Bawumia stated,
Yes.
and I agree 100% with him,
Yes.
that in our economic situation, the commercially viable roads, like the big highways, Accra Takrady, Accra Aflao, Accra Kumasi. Maybe not Koforidua, but Accra Kumasi, Accra Takrady, and Cape Coast, Aflao, Ho, maybe not Ho. But these big roads, because of the volume of traffic that goes on, if you toll it, you'll be able to recoup the investment over a period. And so you then need to attract private investment to toll it. Let me tell you some story that happened in around 1998. Some Hong Kong investors came here. The roads minister, I think it was Salia, and we were having this discussion. And we were prepared to do the Accra Kumasi road, to dualize it at that time. 4-lane, 2-lane, 2-lane going, 2-lane coming. And Salia, the Minister for Roads at that time, had gone and brought these investors. The head of state at that time rejected it. And what was the reason for rejecting it? Because when the people came and did the feasibility on the Accra Kumasi road, they counted the number of vehicles, and they said they would need 10 years to recoup their investment and leave the road to government. But they will need to toll it 20 cedis at that time. And the head of state at that time said, no, that is too much, and rejected it. Today, for my money, if you can give me a dual carriage road to Kumasi, and you toll it 20 cedis today, even 50 cedis, I will pay. It will cut about 2 hours from the journey. Now, when you move from Circle to in Sawam, it's going to take you about 1.5 hours. All of that is traffic. So if I can get a 4-lane that would remove traffic, and so I can do Kumasi in 3 hours, the savings on fuel and time will be more than the 50 cedis. But you see, in 1990, when Salia brought this thing, the head of state at that time said, 20 cedis, it's too much. Won't do it. But really, that is the way to go. You are a very well-traveled person. When you go to some of these big countries, America, every 50 kilometers, on these super highways, every 50 kilometers, there's a toll. That's the way they finance the road. We did this tolling thing manually, and then you go and queue for 30, 40 minutes to go and pay a 50 peso toll, which really didn't make sense. But if you automate it, the motorway, you automate it, and you just get there, and because of the automation, you don't even stop. It just deducts it, it's done in a. You should be able to look at the motorway, look at the volume of traffic. If we're going to apply the proper tolls, it should be possible to get private people to come and invest in doing it, grouping their money and getting a little bit of profit through tolls. And it's that mentality that Bawumia is bringing to the table. And he expressed this thing way back 2016.
No, in 2016,
what
he said was that, yes.
And he still stands by it. He says that.
So is it your belief?
He says that.
Is it your belief that we don't need to borrow money to build any road in Ghana?
Not any road. The commercially viable.
I'm saying what he said.
The commercially viable.
That's not what he said.
I mean, if you a private investor would not invest in doing the town roads at Addo. But you can get a private investor to do the Accra motorway because it's commercially viable. Yes. So you can get investments. So it's that thinking, and the purpose is that you need to take these huge expenditures from government expenditure, and that will create a lot of fiscal space because now a lot of, as we speak, there's an attempt to dualize the road.
Motorway.
No, Kumasi Road.
Yes.
From
Suhum.
No, Suhum has been done.
Yes.
From my hometown.
The rest of.
From my hometown. Yes.
From the
junction.
Yes.
It is called the Isiakwa junction.
Yes.
To bypass my hometown.
Yes.
and Osino right up through to
Yes.
join the bypass at
Yes.
someone.
Yes.
It's a lot of money,
Yes.
public money that is being spent. You can leverage it to attract private people to come and do it.
So why has your government not done that?
Why are you asking me this question?
Oh,
What you and I are faced with is that it hasn't been done.
no. So, so my
obviously-
question is,
so
why
obviously-
has your government
so
not done that?
obviously, the people taking the decisions have a different viewpoint.
So
It's obvious.
So
Why are you- why are you asking me?
so the president
Yeah.
did not buy into Dr. Bawumia's idea
The president has a different viewpoint,
from Dr. Bawumia.
obviously.
Okay.
Obviously.
And Dr. Bawumia,
But the fact that the president has a different viewpoint doesn't make somebody right or somebody wrong.
but if
For you, there you say that because somebody has
anyway,
somebody is wrong.
let's-
I haven't finished.
Okay, go
So
on. Yeah.
now he said he says in the conclusion, and he
Yes.
also says some very exciting things about. He also said that the cost of living in this country is going to make a determined effort to stabilize the cost of living.
in which ways?
He identified the sources of the rise in the cost of living as food, energy, transport, and housing. And that these are the main sources of the cost of living. That if you're able to stabilize those sectors, you also stabilize the cost of living. And so for food, he's going to embark on major agricultural reform. He's going to promote large-scale irrigation. We all talk about how the Accra Plains is there and vast tracts of land, wheat, and then you have huge water just going through the sea. We all talked about it. It says that that is a prime objective.
What
He's
happened
also-
to the Sino Hydro that he went to commission up north?
What about the Sino?
Yes, he went to commission a project, some dam B.
The
which was
Palugu
supposed
Dam.
to do- Yes, what happened to
The
it?
Palugu Dam.
Yes, he's the one who did
The Palugu
yes.
Dam is actually being constructed with government money.
But we thought it was going to be done with Sino Hydro money.
Sino Hydro is only 2 billion. And there were several roads and all of that.
Yeah,
the
it
Palugu
was-
Dam alone is about $1 billion.
Yeah, this was included. That thing,
But,
it was
but are
included.
you saying it's being constructed? Because nothing,
No, it's been stopped.
Nothing,
The
nothing's
funding
going
is
on.
not
Nothing is going on.
No,
there.
no, it's been
Okay.
stopped. The funding is not there. But he says that he's going to leverage private capital, private investment. A lot of the time,
Why couldn't that be made? I'm saying that this Palugu thing, he led it. He went there. He told his people what the
why couldn't-
implications
why-
of all these projects
why
will be.
couldn't that be made?
Yes, Yes.
Is because when you are in government
yes.
and you are not the key decision maker,
You are not the president.
yes, you cannot have. Look, let me show you something that.
No, I was just, I
No,
was
I
just focusing on that one because he led.
No, I agree.
Yes.
I was
So
so
what
show you
happened?
something. No, but obviously because viewpoints are different.
No, but that one, it wasn't about viewpoint.
Which one?
It was about decision taking, and he went there, and we were told about how that program, that thing was going to be the game changer up north and everything.
Yeah.
So what happened?
The funding has not come
So what was the assurances that led him to go and do that?
because the assurance that the funding was going to come.
So what are the assurances that this one that he is
Which
talking
one?
about?
Which one?
What he's promising now?
The irrigation.
Yes,
and so on.
what he's promising now.
The
What are the
irrigation.
assurances that for 7 years into 8 years, what he went to?
Randy, you know the Accra Plains.
Yes,
Samuel Kujato drives there all the time.
Yes.
I drive there once in a while.
yes,
I've asked myself every time I drive there,
yes,
how come you have these vast tracts of land
yes,
and you have this vast amount of water,
yes,
the water,
yes,
flowing into the sea, and sometimes when it floods, cause havoc.
yes,
And you have tract of land next to the water, and the connection, connecting the water to the land through irrigation. We haven't been able to do it.
yes.
Over Rollins mentions it. Every government mentions it. He says, I'm going to bring a new focus to it. And you know, he's never been president. He's never been president. And so he deserves the benefits of the doubt.
But when he was telling us,
now let me finish.
When he was telling us,
let me finish. He says that he's going to the cost of living,
yes,
food. So there's going to be a new approach to agriculture, irrigation, large-scale farming, storage, processing, the post-harvest situation. It's going to be a focus on it. And he believes that will stabilize. He then says he's going to introduce lime that will reduce acidity. That's a technical thing that I haven't quite researched on. But obviously, I'm sure it's been assured by people who know that. And he says that there's a lot of lime deposits in this country.
True.
That can be applied to the soils to make them much more fertile than they are now. And the second drive of cost of living, he mentions transport. And he says he's going to stabilize transport fares by a resort to electric vehicles. But the main driver of transport fares is the cost of fuel and spare parts. And that by replacing fuel with batteries, that source of the rising prices, the cost of fuel, will be reduced. And that will stabilize. And also spare parts, because they are not going to use the internal combustion engine. If you come to my place, a lot of the money that we spend now is on maintenance. And so he's going to be very focused. In fact, he's leading a drive for all the public transport companies to go electric. And we have signed an
even though he's not president.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because he's got everybody aligned.
Okay.
But of course, if he couldn't get everybody aligned.
Okay. So on this one, he got everybody aligned. On the others, he couldn't.
I mean, he got you and I.
Sorry. Get some water. Sorry.
You and I can.
No. Don't talk. Just to take the water first, please.
It's a tough job.
I didn't know you had them. Oh, you haven't choked before.
We all do. We all choke.
But you have to do proper.
He won't miss the opportunity.
The job
He won't miss the opportunity.
The job hard. And I take it easy. You calm
Talking
down.
He won't miss the
propaganda.
opportunity.
You calm down.
Pray that you never choke on this program.
You
You
take
see what I'll do.
You
to
kill
you.
him.
Just take it. I'm
Okay.
very empathizing with you.
Yes.
No, but obviously you have expertise in that. As soon as I told you that, it's clear.
Yeah.
Now, so he's going to champion electric vehicles to stabilize transport fares. He also talked about energy. He says that the regime that we have for the provision of energy has to be changed. And that the energy market is going to be deregulated. This business of ECG and one or two huge public entities providing energy is stifling efficiency. It's going to open it up, deregulate it, so it becomes like the telecom sector. An effort was made with that earlier on in this government. You remember, with the PDS thing, to open up the supply of energy to private, and it didn't. The problems that came with PDS and all of that.
Yeah.
But the principle of opening up the energy provision stage to private sector, same as is done with the telecom center. In the telecom center, you remember, there was only one major public provider of telecom services. Then it was deregulated, and other people came and look at the efficiency and the benefit that the consumer is getting from the telecom center. He says that he's going to do the same for the energy sector. And he's also going to focus on renewables, solar. So taxes on the panels are going to come off. And also taxes on batteries and so on are going to come off, so that more people can afford solar. I have solar, and it's benefited me tremendously. I'm trying to convince you to go solar. You haven't agreed with me yet. But I don't think you think I'm wrong.
No, you're right. I don't disagree with you.
And I don't think you are wrong.
No, I don't disagree with you.
But you haven't done it.
I have not said that I'll do something different.
But you haven't done it.
No, I've not said I'll do something different.
But you haven't done it.
I'm waiting for the resources to do it. Yes. I've not said I'll do something different.
We'll talk about the resource in 2 minutes because I have something that I need to deal with you. Fine. Now, so he's going to remove and then on, and we talk about what he says he wants to do with energy, to deregulate it and have the private sector come in, like the telecom sector. He's also talking about transport. He's talking about and then the housing, which is also a main driver of the cost of living. So we have a vibrant private sector in this country providing housing. So this business of government putting a lot of public funding to provide social housing. And then you have the projects scattered, not completed because there's not enough money. You have the Sagle Mills, there's all kinds of corruption. Government should provide the land. Land tenure is cumbersome. Government has strength. Provide the land banks, provide infrastructure. Leave it to the private sector to provide housing. And he believes that this would dramatically increase the housing stock in this country and bring down the cost of housing. Of course, the rental assistance too is doing well. But you know, if you talk about gold, leveraging our gold, and that we have proven resources of about 43,000 square kilometers of Ghana with proven gold deposits. And he says that that is a resource that we haven't tapped. That you can use gold primarily to support your currency. And you go to some of these countries, United Kingdom, the pound sterling. The reason why they're able to bluff and not join the euro and all of that, because they have a lot of gold sitting in the vaults of the Bank of England, supporting their currency. You go to Germany, they have thousands of tons of gold sitting there. America has almost 10,000 tons of gold. We in Ghana, where we have some of the richest gold mines in the world, we probably have about 8 tons of gold. And gold can be used as a buffer to support the stability of your currency. And this 43,000 square kilometers of gold in this country, proven reserve, is going to leverage the proven resources to attract capital and expertise under Ghanaian ownership. You know, when this lithium thing came, even though the Ministry of AE was saying that under the existing conditions, it was the best that we've had, there was a suggestion that we could actually have put ownership in our hands and hire the expertise. But then, because the reserves were not proven, and there has to be exploration, and indeed the exploration agreement was signed in 2013 or so. And so one company then had done the exploration for a long period and invested over $50 million and so on. So there were preconditions that tied government hands. But with this goal, because the reserves are proven, it should be possible to get private capital and private expertise, hire them, leverage them under Ghanaian ownership. And the London Standard gold, the gold, the quality that is viable to support currency, have the gold refinery, have the standards, and leverage this gold deposit to stockpile gold in the Bank of Ghana.
Why is government not doing this?
The same answer I gave you.
They didn't listen to him.
The same answer I gave you.
All right. Okay, now. Let's bring in something.
So, this is the difference that he's going to bring. Okay. And there are a couple of other things that he said about the digitization, but we don't have time.
All right,
and so I'll leave that. But the way he's going to leverage digitization to aid them. So, but the NDC, they say that Bawumia has abandoned Akufo-Addo. I've never understood that thing.
Okay.
Because the man says he's driver's mate. The NDC is saying because of that he has abandoned Akufo-Addo. How is that? Akufo-Addo's term of office is going to end. He's not removing Akufo-Addo. He wants to succeed him. He says that as vice president, you are like, and indeed, your boss, the former chief of staff, Deborah, is it Deborah? You know, I stumbled upon something that he had said in 2016 when he was out.
I hope it is not one of those things people create.
No, it was on Ghana Web. I checked it.
Okay.
I mean, when I saw it, I'm like, let me check it.
Okay.
And it was on Peace FM, it was on Ghana Web, and all of that. And he said very clearly, as campaigning, that look, you have to give Mahama 8 years. And that if you vote for Mahama, he was speaking at Kalio, somewhere in the northern region, on the 25th September 2016. And he was telling them to vote for John Mahama, and that they should give him 4 more years so he can get 8 years. And he says that with John Mahama, he's the driver. As for Bawumia, if you vote for him, he's going to be a driver's mate. And then he says, let me quote him in the article. He says, in every moving vehicle, there is someone behind the steer and a driver's mate. The driver determines which direction the car moves. The mate may have a say, but the driver takes the ultimate decision. In this analogy that I'm giving you, President Mahama is the driver. As for Bawumia, he'll be a driver's mate should you vote for Akufo-Addo. And he cannot determine, and he cannot have the ultimate power. If he proposes something for you and Akufo-Addo says, no, this is later, there's nothing he can do. But if you vote for Mahama, he will be the driver.
Okay.
You know? So, Bawumia said he's the driver's mate. I haven't heard Okujeto, but I'm sure he agrees with his collaborators. That they say Bawumia has abandoned Akufo-Addo. How is that? Okay. And then they say that Bawumia says he's not to blame. Blame for what? I mean, Bawumia is not to blame for what? I don't understand it.
Okay.
Instead of looking at the substance of what the man had said, and if you have any ideas on it, whether the viability or not, we are talking about driver's mate and how Bawumia, putting words into Bawumia's mouth. Right. Bawumia has never said anywhere that there's blame and he is not part of it. In fact, if you look at the speech, the first part of the speech, well, talking about Akufo-Addo.
But has Bawumia said that he disagrees with decisions of his government?
No.
He hasn't said that?
No. As far as I know.
He hasn't?
No, as far as I know.
That he disagrees with decisions of his government?
As far as I know, he hasn't. No.
So all the things
I'm sure the disagreement will be expressed at cabinet, not on the radio.
No, I'm saying that in the lecture, has he not told us about things that he disagrees with his government?
Saying that if there's disagreement, it will be expressed at cabinet.
So you don't, you don't think that any part of his lecture told us about his disagreements with his government?
He has told you that he has a different viewpoint. You can imply that he doesn't then agree with some of the things that have been done.
All right.
Otherwise, he's not coming to show you a different view.
So what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon?
PENDREAM TV. Yeah, the political news ne ensema hodwa etwagu ewo Ghana ene de bro. Se uye ni wo ha ana utahwe na wonya subscribe ya. You better also subscribe to channel no. Wa like video no wa share ama afofron so ensa akabi. Now de adwentre aba comment section ho ana say number na eda o screen so no. Obetima send o message afa sa number na so. Through WhatsApp, you be publish ama amansan ate wonka. Number ni 0277 128 777. You be share in the next video. Macro.
Dedi kama amena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.